Today, I would like to offer a little bit of a guide on how to start diving into crow pose. This is a bit of an advanced pose, but I wanted to throw it in here just to show you that you can achieve these things if you like. You can start where you are. So if you are familiar with crow pose, or you start watching the video and you have all of these things coming up like, oh my gosh, I can't do that, just know, like, I was totally in that place before too. When I first started, I was like, oh, yeah, right, there's no way. But I tried to take it in a very, bless you, lighthearted way, and just kind of laugh it off. And I did what I could, and then eventually I was able to move up to being able to practice that pose. And it's also possible that maybe for you, you never practice that pose, you don't want to, you just don't have a desire to, and that's absolutely fine too. Feel free to take what resonates from this practice and just leave what doesn't. So, for a little bit of a warm up to crow, I'll offer you some exercises. So if you do choose to not go for the full crow posture, you can always start with these exercises, and this is something you kind of build up on over time to build the strength, build the balance. So we'll begin on all fours or on your knees, seated. Inhale in, breathe in the light of 100,000 suns as you reach up to the sky. Feel the warmth of the sun on your hands. And exhale, dive forward to your forward fold, your tabletop position. Sway the hips from side to side. Flow through a couple rounds of cat-cow here. So by now you're probably familiar with your cat-cow. If you're just popping in, you're gonna inhale, drop the belly, open the heart. Exhale, round through the spine, tuck the tailbone, let the head hang heavy. Just flow back and forth like that in a spinal flexion. And then when you're ready, come to a flat back position. You're gonna lower the elbows down where the palms were. Then tuck all 10 of your toes, and we're gonna send the hips up high and back for a dolphin pose. So it's like downward dog, but on your forearms. So breathe in, lift the knees, lift the hips, the tailbone up towards the sky, pedal through the legs. Let your head hang heavy. And then from there, so you might play around with just staying right there. If you want to add a little bit more with some core strengthening exercises, from your dolphin pose, you might start to walk the feet in towards the body, and then just walk the feet back and walk them to a plank. And send the hips up high and back again, walk the feet in. And walking them out to your plank on the forearms. And just flow back and forth like that here a few times, as many times as you'd like. Okay, you're building strength in the core, building strength in the arms. Building flexibility in the legs. And when you're ready, let your knees come down to the earth. Send the knees out wide, big toes to touch. Hips back, child's pose, walking the palms out in front of you, letting the heart and the third eye come down to the earth. Inhale, rising up. Walk your palms back in towards the knees. Walk the knees in together. Tuck the toes so you can come back onto your heels here. Lengthen through the legs. Meet in your forward fold at the back edge of your mat. Inhale, root to rise, breathing in. Reaching up to the stars. Breathe in, breathe out. Just take a moment. Maybe shake anything out that needs to be shaken out. And then we'll start playing around with our crow. So, you have blocks at home. Excellent. If you don't, a really thick book like this will work just as well, or a few books stacked on top of each other. So place that down on your mat. So the way I like to get into crow is from standing. So if you're using your block here, it just helps a little bit because it raises the earth up to meet you. So it gets you a little bit added height. And I don't have very long legs, so it helps me out. So you're going to actually step up onto your book or your block. You want to kind of angle your feet inward so your big toes are pointing together. Breathe in. Maybe reach up to the stars, challenging your balance a bit here. Then exhale, forward fold. Reach your palms down to the earth. So bend into your knees so much that you can reach your palms down, but still try to keep that pointing in of the feet. Your big toes coming to touch or almost to touch. See if you can bring your palms all the way down to the earth out in front of you. And again, just take this step by step. So if you feel like something's too much, just know you can practice a little bit of this every day. Maybe you just practice your forward folds. Maybe you practice the dolphin to plank transition. Or just really practicing yoga every day. They're gonna warm up these muscles and start to build muscle memory to get into these more advanced postures. And just think of it as playing around. Just like a little kid experimenting on the earth. So bringing your palms down, bend into your knees generously so you can do this. So you might almost come down into a crouch even. Bring your palms to the earth. So your knees are gonna wanna come up almost into your like armpit space here. So that's where the block really helps this to happen. So it's already kind of naturally happening as I'm crouching up on this book. Firmly root your palms into the earth here. You want them to be at a distance where once you start to rock forward off of your book, that your elbows are gonna kind of stack up over your wrists here. So you might take a few times to figure out where that distance it lies for you. Finding those active hands, rooting in through every knuckle, the space between pointer finger and thumb, elbow creases shining forward to the front of the room. And then you might start to just rock back and forth. So rocking, squeezing the knees. So there comes that core action. You're squeezing the knees up into the armpits here. Maybe just play around doing that. A couple times. You can really feel that. Bringing the knees up towards the armpits. And then, one step further, you might start to rock forward, squeezing the knees up into the armpits. Maybe you tap up off of that book for a moment and come back down. So as you're leaning forward, you're really using the core to actively pull those knees in towards your armpits, to the backs of the arms. Almost using the backs of the arms as a little shelf here. And just play around with that. know every day is different too. So there are some days where I can't stay up in a crow for as long as I can on other days. And just be compassionate with yourself, because your body is most likely not used to moving in this way unless you already have an established yoga practice. And when you do this too, you want to have your gaze looking down, but slightly in front of you as well. And that's going to help with your balance. Another great thing that you can do that I've done before is place some pillows or soft blankets underneath you. That way, if you do have a fall or you stumble out of it, there's not as much fear about how you're going to land. So I've definitely done that before when I'm practicing, as you're kind of finding that balance. So play around with that as much as you would like. Keep returning to this video. Might even take note of your progress as time goes on, the more and more you return to the video. And this is just a very quick intro practice to the posture, so really you don't have to do this in a day after this short video. You don't have to have mastered crow. When you are feeling complete with your practicing, just come back to a seat. Feel your heart pulsing. Maybe you feel muscles in your body waking up that haven't been woken up in a while. Invite more rhythm to come back to the breath, connecting your breath to the winds, to the ocean. Breathe in, sweep the arms up overhead. And exhale, palms together, lower them down to your heart. Thank you again for trying something new with me today. I hope you had some fun with it, and I will see you next time. Namaste.